Yo, what's going on guys? Jivan back with another video, and today we are going to talk about how to win arena games, get points fast, and win more fights in arena. We'll be going over a lot of stuff and checking out some fighting breakdowns and a win breakdown. Don't forget to use code JivanTV and check out the merch, link in description, but without further ado, let's get into it. Quickly, right off the bat, we're going to go over a few common questions at the moment. First off, champs is 7,500 arena points. I get asked that a lot. It's the same as last season. Second off, the easiest game mode to get to champs fast is just grinding duos and trios. Solos is going to be the best practice, but duos and trios is the best for gaining arena points fast. Next big thing is, should you even be using a shotgun? People have been saying no, you should just be using SMGs, but that's not true at all. If you go up against a good player that knows how to use a shotgun and you only have an SMG, it's going to be really tough for you to beat them. The most ideal loadout in my opinion is pump SMG Spidey Webs or pump AR Spider Webs. And if you don't have spider webs, then I would carry pump SMG AR. But you should always try to carry at least 2 sets of heals because this meta requires a lot of healing with all the spraying. Last common question is, should you be playing safe or should you be W king? And depends on the level of fighting you're at. Arena is typically a fighting game mode. Like, that's where you go to get fighting practice. But when you're trying to get to champs, that switches things up a little bit. Obviously, you want to get to champs fast, so you can try to play safe, but if you're able to win a lot of fights, that's going to be your fastest method to get to champs. What I recommend you do is when you're trying to get to champs, try to stay away from the center of the map because that's where a lot of players rotate and that's where the most third parties are going to be, which in turn means those fights are going to be the hardest to survive. Instead, try to rotate to the dead side of zone and take fights there. That's going to be your best chance of getting kills, getting points, and surviving to the end game. Now that we covered that, let's get into how to win fights and how to win solo arena games. There's a couple big differences in this season than in previous ones. The biggest differences are, first of all, there's a lot more spraying, obviously, so you have to learn how to counter the spray. The biggest way you do this is you try to stay back a little bit. You try to avoid giving your opponent an opportunity to spray into your box and get right up in your face. Additionally, because of the spray meta, third-party sprays are one of the most deadly things this season. So positioning yourself in a place where you can't get sprayed is really important, and there's a few ways to do that. First off, if you're fighting in the center of the map, like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot more third parties. So when you're taking fights there, try to initiate a box fight rather than a build fight. If you build fight when you're in the center of the map, if a third party shows up, you're going to be very visible to a spray from them and you might get absolutely deleted. But if you're in a box fight, you're going to have walls around you protecting your angles and you won't be able to get third party sprayed as easily. If you are in a build fight in the center of the map, just make sure you're watching your angles and be prepared for a third party spray at any moment. Additionally, try to end that fight as fast as possible. Last thing before we get into actual examples is this season, the biggest difference is that you need to get a health advantage to start the fight. Back in the day, obviously this was important, but even if you were weak, you could still hit a 1 pump to come back. But an absolute perfect fight this season looks like this. You start out playing slow, looking for angles with your shotgun, just trying to get like a 50 to 100 tag on them. If you can get even a 50 health advantage on the opponent, then you start trying to get up close and look for sprays. I always carry a pump and an SMG. I start the fight with a pump, looking for that damage, and then I get up close with an SMG looking for the finish. That's a perfectly ideal fight in my opinion. Now that we covered all that, we're going to check out a really good example on how to play an arena game, breaking down the fights, when to play safe, when to key, and how I got the dub. This game I land nearby shifty shafts at the bridge because there's the Spidey shooters here. You can go to the website fortnite.gg to find out where all of them are. I start out this fight by blocking angles because I knew there were other people nearby. I blocked the top as well just in case he decided to edit up and try to build fight, but then I just got in. I wanted to end this fight quickly because I knew there were like 4 other players surrounding us and I could not get third partied with this amount of mats. So my strategy in the early game is just get as healthy as possible, as fast as possible, and then try to get either an SMG, pump, or both. Once I get that stuff, I start pushing people around my landing location, and then I keep fighting until the first zone starts closing, and then I try to get away from the center of the map. So this fight here I'm taking pretty slow. I'm trying to look for an opportunity to get that health advantage that I talked about earlier. I'm building up to him really slow but protecting my angles while I do that. I'm trying to make sure he can't get an opportunity to 1, jump in my box, and 2, get a side jump on me. And I was also playing slow because I wanted to track him really carefully and look for opportunities. By playing slow here, I was able to identify that I could take a side jump shot here, and then I just full pieced him to finish it. Once I get him full pieced, I don't go for another pump shot, I just go straight to the SMG and finish him off that way. So where I'm at right now is literally the center of the map. And so a lot of people are pushing up here already. When I have so many people on me like this, I let them fight for a bit and look for opportunities to jump people. I play patiently in my builds until I have an opportunity and then I attack. I got this guy cracked here, which means I have a major health advantage, so I'm psychoing forward like crazy trying to get in his box to finish it. As soon as I get a health advantage, I always just psycho trying to end that fast. But sadly, I get cracked here and I couldn't finish the fight. And by the time I get all healed up, I realize there's like 20 players rotating in here, and that's my cue, time to dip. This is where I check the map and try to figure out where's a good place to take fights. In this situation, the west side of the map is going to be the best place. Zone pulls in that direction, and most of the players are going to rotate to the center at this point, so traveling way to the edge is the best place to fight without a third party. As I'm rotating, I'm trying to get my mats up on the way and I get pushed. So I start out the fight with the shotgun trying to get a health advantage so I can spray him with my SMG. I notice right off the bat he's standing in front of my wall. So I get a cone in his box and go for a peek shot, but don't do much damage. I quickly get out of that box because he claimed that wall. I need to immediately reposition. This was a bad peek because I gave him the right hand peek on me. I was walking to the left into that shot, but I'm able to get over top of him, claim these builds, and I go for a peek shot while backing out of the box at the same time. Notice how I turn my body sideways when taking the peek shot from above. This makes it so I have a right hand peek while taking the peek shot from above. I have a better angle because I'm turned sideways, which in turn led to me getting a bigger shot on him. The end of the fight was kind of just a 50-50 shot, but he was weak and I won. After that fight, I immediately start working towards the edge of the zone again. That way I can take fights over there without a third party. I find somebody over here pretty quickly and I was able to end it really quickly as well. Pretty easy fight there. However, shortly after I get pushed by another player and I start the fight with a major health disadvantage. I try to create lots of layers to protect myself from his spray so I can get some heals off. I don't just make a box, I make like 3 boxes with ramps behind me so there's a lot of layers he has to spray through, and I was able to get back to max HP. Once I get all my heals off, I start to fight back immediately. I look for peek shots so I can get a health advantage with my shotgun. I know he's going to keep cycling forward, so I place this ramp to block his angle from shooting me once he gets in my box. At this point, I had a health advantage, we're in a box together, and I go for the unsuspecting spray from above. I've been doing this a lot this season. When I get a health advantage, if I have an opportunity to go for a spray play like I did here, it pretty much always works. If you're the first to start spraying, you have a health advantage and they don't expect it, you're always going to win. Following that fight, I continue looking for fights over here, but the next zone has opened, so I scout it real quick. In this type of zone, I like to continue trying to search on the edge of zone I'm already on by like log jam, the outer edge of the map. So in this game, I flew around there, I couldn't find anybody, so I start working towards the center of zone where more people are. In the mid game, I'm always trying to be very selective with my fights because I don't want to position myself in a bad spot where I'm gonna get third partied. In this game, I just got pushed by this guy, he psychoed me, I hit my shots, I won, it was that simple. I get pushed by another player here, and I do try to fight back for a little bit. I tried looking for an opportunity to get that health advantage, but this player was playing smart. I could tell this fight was going to go on for a while because when I got the health advantage, he just kept on running. On top of that, second zone had basically already finished closing, and so there were a lot of players around and a third party was very likely. So with all that in mind, I decided to dip out of this fight. It's okay to try to disengage. If they shoot you and keep pushing you, you've got to fight back, but sometimes you can disengage. Alright, so once second zone starts closing, I make sure to get all my materials up, I make sure I'm ready for the end game, and I position myself as center as possible. If you get pushed at this point in the game, box fight them, do not build fight. So at this point in the game, it's the start of half and half zone. The games have been pretty stacked recently, so you gotta play this smart. I'm very patient with my rotates. I try to scout around, make sure that I have a free rotate. I wait for players around me to get distracted before rotating, and that's when I go. Once I get into the zone, I always build up in metal, and I'm always ready for people to spray at me. As soon as they start spraying, I place ramps and walls, double layering it so I'm not getting shot through my wall, and I branch out a little bit. If you play smart in the endgame, you can get so many free kills like I am here. In this meta, if you're trying to fight in these endgames where people have angles on you to spray, you're going to die. Pretty simple. So at this point, the patient people are the ones that are going to clutch up. Another thing to note is you should launch pad pretty much like I did there. Don't do high pads where you fly straight up in the air because people will beam you out of the sky so easily. The main thing to note about endgames is you need to be double layering everything as soon as you start getting shot at. And if you're in wood, you're most likely going to get sprayed. Like, look at how easily I depleted this guy's health because he was in wood. Once I get the kill on this player, I tarp to his loot, protecting my angles so I don't get sprayed. If the lobby sees you get cracked, you're probably going to get lobby focused. So it's extra important to protect your angles all the time. As I'm tunneling here, this guy starts spraying at me, so I immediately double layer it with a ramp and wall. Once I stop getting sprayed at, I get way ahead, I reload all my guns, and we're ready for the next zone. It pulls max distance again, so I try to get all the way to front side as soon as possible. I don't want to get held on the back side of zone. This season, especially in tournaments, it's going to be so crucial to stay ahead and spray back. Once I get all the way to front side, I basically just chill here and look for opportunities to get kills. I have Spidey webs, so I don't really need to stay ahead of zone. Instead, I conserve the mats and wait to rotate until last second. I see this guy tarping in wood, and so basically it's just a free kill with the SMG. Once I get that kill, I'm running pretty low on hard mats here, so I gotta be extra careful that I don't get sprayed at. But I get all the way to front side of zone, make a base in hard mats, and I start to look to grief high ground because high ground is the biggest threat in the game. With spray guns on high ground, you can basically destroy the whole lobby, so if you have a chance to grief high ground, you should take it. Notice how when I base up here in zone, I triple layer my walls. I have a cone, floor, and ramp above me. Since I'm in wood, that's actually necessary because they'll just spray through a floor and cone so fast. I go for a play on high ground here, but he's just destroying my builds, so I end up just sitting on this layer for a bit, trying to scout where the two players are, and at the moment, I'm in the middle of both of them, which is not good. So I get to the front side of zone and claim low ground. If you're stuck in the middle of two players in a spray meta, you're just going to die so fast because you can get sprayed from above and below at the same time. So once I got to front side here, the other player just rotated right into me and I got a free kill. He was so weak. And then it's a 1v1 me versus high ground, and I just go for the spray play on him, take the high ground, and win the game. Pretty easy last fight because I was super healthy still. But yeah guys, I hope this video helped you out. That's basically how I've been going about my arena games, how I've been gaining points. If this video helped you out, be sure to hit that like button, sub if you're new, use code JivanTV, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.